I can remember when there were about 10, I think, practices in the Auckland area. I may be underestimating there, but they certainly weren't in every suburb, and they tended to clutter, if anything, naturally enough, around the eastern expensive parts of Auckland and on the North Shore, although the North Shore wasn't built up to quite the extent it is now. The Harbour Bridge had been open only about 4 years when I graduated. The ACC has made that enormous difference, of course, and I can remember the sort of progress was made. Originally, the law stated that the ACC would pay for, or pay a reasonable fee in the rehabilitation of patients to doctors, physiotherapists, and so forth. As time went on, it became apparent that they were not very keen on adjusting that fee in accordance with the inflationary trends of the 1980s. And to cut a very long story short, by 1990 they lagged a long way behind, and most physiotherapists were charging the patient a fee to make up the difference. Finally, we took them to court. The society took them to court. In fact, I think it wasn't the society, it must have been, or the Private Practitioners Association of the society, took the ACC to court on the basis that the law said they were to pay a reasonable fee, but it didn't lay down what that fee was, the level of fee. And the judge held, yes, this is so. They've got no right to sort of exact a fee will be. I think they were stuck at about $5 in those days. It's amazing how things have increased. At that time, however, there was still in existence a government subsidy, the Social Security benefit, which was $1 per patient per treatment, and $1.50 for superannuitants, beneficiaries generally. When I started, I think we used to charge about $3 on top of that. That'd be right. But you can imagine that by the time 1990 came, it wasn't sufficient really, and the administration of it, having to send all the stuff into the Department of Health and so forth, and the staff required to pay it, was more than the actual payment that was being put out. So Michael Bassett, as Minister of Health, abolished it overnight, thus leaving a lot of physiotherapists in the cart because they were treating, say, rest homes. They'd look after a group, and do a round of 30 patients, take them for walks, do this, as well as more hands-on clinical work, and fund it entirely on that benefit. So there was a panic. However, by 1990, the ACC had risen, or pushed the fee up to $22.50 GST inclusive. And later on, in 1992, Mr. Birch managed to knock it down more than 15% to $19, where it stayed until a couple of years ago. Here again, you've got the surcharging going on. There was a slight hiccup with the Massage Parlours Act, which was designed to stop brothels, virtually. Everybody knew what they were, the massage parlours, but an act came up. We tried to have it put down because technically massage could only be given by physiotherapists, but it was held no, it can be given as long as it's not claimed for therapeutic reasons. And some people were setting themselves up, calling themselves therapeutic masseurs, and while we moaned about it, they could quite justly say, but you're not using it, which largely was true. People were not doing hands-on massage or any other clinical. The thing was, you were a successful physiotherapist if you had about 6 cubicles going full belt, all with their own machinery buzzing quietly away. They must be good. Look at the crowd, you know. You could almost expect to be lowered through the roof, for which there is some justification. Those days apparently have gone. We're back to the more hands-on touch type of approach. The Massage Parlours Act didn't really have any effect on us, although I do remember two fairly young married women started a practice in a suburb of Auckland and put a sign outside. It was in the shopping centre or shopping area. Put a sign out, come and have a massage and a cup of tea. I said, come on. And were horrified when they were visited by the police, who demanded to see their massage parlour's licence. And they knew so little about law and things, they didn't even realise that, of course, we weren't even covered by, you know, it had nothing to do with us, we were specifically exempted. So that was a bit of a laugh, you know. What other things have happened? The chiropractic thing was I think what the chiropractors won there was a considerable degree of credibility. In other words, they fooled the government. Some very smart talk indeed, with an American-based philosophy behind it.